I'm going to teach you a sound that can change your mental state in seconds. But be careful, because if you do it right, it might feel a little strange. Oh, this is a very special sound, used for thousands of years by different shamanic cultures. Traditionally, this sound has been used in healing rituals, and it's said to have the power to help us connect with our Mother Earth, with power, and to ground ourselves. But first, I want to explain something to you, and that's that sound, in general, is a very powerful tool. It's one of the oldest medicines available to humans. It has been used for thousands of years, practically since the beginning of humanity, for healing purposes. Sound has the ability to change our thoughts, our emotions, our sensations, and even our bodies. Let me briefly explain the reason why sound is so powerful. In this beautiful universe we live in, the constant is vibration. Absolutely everything that exists is made up of particles, of atoms that are vibrating at different frequencies. And what happens then? This is where the principle of forced resonance comes into play, which says that every vibration affects other vibrations. In other words, if you take one object that has a certain vibration and another that has a different vibration, if you bring them close together, one will affect the other. This is easier to understand with an example. Have you ever noticed when an opera soprano sings a really high note and breaks a glass? That's forced resonance, because someone not even touching the object breaks it just with their voice's vibration. Another example is when a truck passes by outside your house and the windows vibrate. Two objects haven't had any physical contact, but one still affects the other. By observing this, we can see there must be some vibrations good for our body and others that aren't so good. This knowledge is something that shamans had, and even today it's still used, because we can see that during open heart surgeries, for example, they play Baroque music, or that more and more official medical therapies are starting to use sounds to help people, to help patients relax, to calm the nervous system. Now that you understand better the great power that sound has, let's move on to the practice I want to talk to you about today. As we mentioned before, this type of singing can be found in various cultures. For example, the Mongolians with their karjira, which is what they call it. Northern populations, Vikings, and Europeans also practice this type of singing. This type of singing has also been used by monks in Tibet and India. It's even said that some Native American cultures have practiced it, although there is less evidence of that. And here comes the usual question. How is it possible that so many cultures from different parts of the world have come to the same conclusion and used this same technique? Well, it's probably because it's something truly powerful that's part of our DNA and our psyche as humans. So let's get to it. Before doing the technique, we need to prepare our body. To do this, you could, for example, take 3 deep breaths using your diaphragm. To put it simply, what happens during the process of breathing in or inhalation is that as you take a deep breath, your diaphragm, which is a large muscle located just below your lungs, contracts and moves downward. This movement creates more space in your chest cavity, allowing your lungs to expand as they fill with air. As your lungs expand, they push down on the organs in your abdomen, which causes your stomach area to move outward or expand. So when you inhale, you might notice that your stomach rises or sticks out a bit more than usual. This is a normal, a natural part of the breathing process, and it shows that you are using your diaphragm effectively to take in air. Very good. Now, I would like to invite you to gently make your lips vibrate for a moment. This simple action will help you begin to loosen up and get your mouth and facial muscles moving. Take your time and let your lips move softly, feeling the gentle vibration as you prepare to get into motion. You can also do some vocal breathing, for example. All this prior preparation isn't 100% necessary, but I think it's good because it gets you ready to receive the sound and connect with it. In the end, we want to open ourselves completely to the vibration and let it have its resonant effect inside us. Alright, so let's move on to the sound. The first thing you need to do to be able to do this is this. This sound is actually pretty easy to make. You probably already know how to do it. I think almost all of us do. But if you can't do it yet, practice a little. It's kind of like closing your throat quite a bit and slowly pushing air out through it without actually making any sound with your voice. Also, to help guide you, you can imitate the sound you make when you've just woken up and you're still tired. Alright, so there you have the sound. Okay, once we get that, we move on to the next step, which is to gradually start adding a bit of voice. That is, to accompany that drier sound with a slight thread of voice. The gestures I was making with my hand indicated the amount of voice I was adding each time, just in case that wasn't clear. It's pretty simple, but you'll probably have to try it several times, because especially when you don't have much practice, it's hard to keep it steady. Now that you can make this sound, try to feel it every time you do it. In your stomach, in your chest, in your throat. These are usually the places where you feel this particular frequency the most. In fact, you could touch these specific areas with your hands while you do it, and you'll notice how clearly you can feel the vibration. Now, if this sound by itself, if it's already powerful, it becomes much more powerful when we ritualize it. That is, when we accompany it with certain thoughts, movements, words, or energy. For this, I'm going to invite you to do a ritual that I do every day to empower myself using this sound. The first thing you need to do is think of an intention. I always say this. When I explain to someone how to do a sound practice, I always tell them to set an intention, a clear purpose. And this is very simple. It's because sound is pure vibration, pure energy. In other words, it's a manifestation of your frequency that you send out into the universe. So if you think about it, it's like a megaphone, a loudspeaker for your intention. So anything you project, anything you visualize, and combine it with sound, it becomes much more powerful, and it's much easier for it to come true. It's true that thoughts are powerful for the universe, and words too, but when you combine all of that with sound, it's like it gets amplified. So, to do this, we think about our affirmation. For example, my affirmation is going to be, I have the power to achieve my goals. So let's do something. For this practice, we're going to focus on feeling our purpose. I have the power to achieve my goals. I like to repeat it 3 times before starting. Once for the body, once for the mind, and once for the spirit. I have the power to achieve my goals. I have the power to achieve my goals. I have the power to achieve my goals. Very good. Now we're going to repeat the sound we just learned to make 3 times. If it doesn't come out exactly the same, that's okay. Just vocalize as deeply as you can, and that's enough. That will work too. Wow, you're probably already starting to feel a little more uplifted. And to finish, just take a moment and give thanks. Give thanks to yourself, to the universe, to whatever you want, to whatever you believe in, for allowing yourself to do this practice and because it will help you to achieve the goal you set for yourself. When this practice is done correctly, you feel many changes in your internal energy. You'll be able to feel it. I'm feeling it right now. It also creates a great sense of calm. In fact, if you do it at night, it will probably help you sleep better. But if you do it during the day, you'll also feel much better. It's also likely to help energize you, because it's like a very warrior-like sound. And another thing you gain from doing this is a lot of mental clarity. I recommend doing it before activities that require your thinking, whether you have to read, study, write, work, or whatever it may be. And if you can feel all of this after just a few seconds of practice, how far could you go if you keep exploring the full power of sound? Probably to places we can't even imagine yet. Remember, this is a practice you can do every day. It's there for you. The thing about sound is that it has something really special. It's free and it's always within your reach because you have it inside you. I mean, your voice is always with you. Everyday objects can also be used to make sound, so it's a tool for you, a tool at the service of humanity. And I invite you to always use it wisely, aiming to use it to bring greater good to the world. So stay tuned, because some really big things are coming soon.